Hi, Junie. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Have you had a good time since, we last met? Has anything happened or
No, things are pretty much just going the same, but I'm doing all right.
the same? Okay. Um, so last time it was a lot of me talking, and we talked about the policies and kind of procedures for the Community Resource Center, and a little bit about the informed consent and confidentiality between you and I. I just wanted to remind you, I am a mandated reporter. So if anything, suicide, homicide comes up, I have to report that. Child abuse, neglect, elderly abuse, neglect, that kind of thing, what we talked about. So before we start, I just wanted to, to kind of remind you. Um, and then just a quick reminder as well that during this, your participation is super important to me because, like we talked about last time, you're an expert in your own life. And I want to get you to where you need to be. And the only way to do that is for you to be very open. Today, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. It is from a biopsychosocial spiritual assessment. It kind of just lets me know where you are, a background, getting to know you kind of aspect of things. There may be some difficult questions, and if you're not able to answer, just let me know and we can kind of move on from that. But again, the more detailed you are, the more I can help you reach your goals in the future. So at any point, if you need to stop, just let me know.
Okay.
So we're just gonna kind of start with general information. Your full name,
Junie B. Jones,
okay. Your date of birth,
June 6, 1991.
and where are you living at right now? Are you in Columbia or?
I live in Fredericktown, Missouri.
And then your race.
Caucasian.
And last time we talked about gender was female, and then the pronouns she, her, correct?
Yes.
And then I just want to let you know, I will be writing down information. Again, it goes back with the confidentiality. I'm not giving this away. It's just so I can make notes and kind of keep track of our progress and what needs to be done. So now we're going to kind of talk about why you're here at the Community Resource Center and what made you really want to come in.
So, I have a case with Children's Division. My kids were taken away from me after my youngest daughter was born. She tested positive for methamphetamine at birth, and then they tested my son. They did a hair test on him, and he also had meth in his system, and I did as well. So my kids now live with my grandparents.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, it's hard. Before this, I had another son who got taken away. I wasn't really working services or anything, so he's always lived with my grandparents. But I was doing well with getting to see him and getting visits and stuff, and then just kind of recently with the relapse, just kind of all going downhill. It's hard not getting to see him.
Yeah, I can imagine that. So you have two sons and a daughter,
Yes.
and have you been able to see your son and daughter or your daughter since she was born?
I get 1 hour supervised visits with her right now, because I'm doing my drug screens and I'm passing and stuff like that. So I only get to see them a little bit, the 1 hour a week.
And how are you doing with that?
It's really hard, especially because my youngest is a baby and I don't have any time with her, and I really want to get to bond with her, but that's hard. I'm only there an hour and I have my other kids, that I also want to give time and attention to.
Yeah, I kind of hear that you're feeling a little bit isolated, um, and then struggling with that bond.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you close with your parents?
My dad, I'm really close with. He's a big support for me. I live down the street from him. And then my mom died when I was about 10 years old. She died from a drug overdose. And then, so I didn't really have that much of a relationship with her.
Okay. So it kind of sounds like that was in the family. Is that the reason that you started using drugs? Was your mom or
Yeah, I mean, I started using when I was about 13. I did like started, smoking weed and then I would take like pills and stuff. There's just kind of not much to do in a small town and kind of it seems like everyone's doing it.
yeah. So 13 smoking weed, and then what made you progress to meth?
Just friends were doing it. I mean, family was doing it. It was just easy to get and it was kind of just bored and being young and stupid and then it kind of gets out of control.
Right. Um, do you have a significant other?
The father of my kids, we're not really together. He's the father of all three. His name is Ricky. We kind of use a lot like when we're together and stuff. Like he kind of made meth and stuff too, so it's like when we live together, he wants to kind of do that in the house and because it's my house and it's we don't really fight and things like that. It's just the drug use is bad with us.
Yeah. Does he support you getting sober?
Yeah, I mean, he wants me to have the kids and stuff, he's not really involved too much and his sobriety isn't really top priority right now, but I mean, he wants the kids to be with me.
Do you have any other kind of social support system?
I have my friend, her name is Barbara. We've been friends for about 25 years. She doesn't do any drugs surprisingly and stuff, and we're still friends, so she kind of is my only real good support because everyone else I've used drugs with.
Okay. Does she, are you attending like NA meetings and
Yeah, I go to some NA, but they're really religious and I am not. So it's kind of hard to focus on sobriety when it's so much about religion and I don't really understand or believe that. So I feel like it's kind of hard to focus on my sobriety when it's not stuff that's really helpful for me.
right? Right. Have you tried to see if there was another one that kind of didn't focus on the religion aspect, or is it just one that you tried?
Um, there's some others, but they're farther out of town, and I have a really old car. Like it gets me from place to place, but I'm worried about going long distances because Fredericktown's kind of like a little small isolated town. So I'm just worried about putting more wear and tear on my car when it already isn't that much. Like I have court and stuff I have to go to also, so I want to make sure I have my car as long as possible, especially when I'm trying to get my kids back.
Yeah, of course. Is there any, I know you had the drug use. Is there any other critical events like in your history of abuse or trauma as a young girl that you've experienced that kind of led to the drug use, or just because you were bored and
I mean, probably my mom a lot. She did meth. She was in and out of prison a lot my childhood. She was still my mom though, so I wanted to hang out with her and do stuff, but she was under the influence a lot of times, so it's kind of hard to miss, so it's a little embarrassing.
yeah, I can imagine as a young girl that was pretty stressful to deal with and to kind of see um, and really grow up in that environment where mom is in and out of prison and seeing meth in the house. It was probably scary. Um,
Yeah, I think that's why me and my dad are so close too, because he didn't do that, and I mean, he always supported my mom and never like talked bad about her, and he's just a really good guy. So me and him are pretty close.
that's great. And during your case, has he been, with you every step of the way? Yeah,
Yeah, he helps me a lot. He actually gives me money sometimes because I don't work. Um, I It's kind of hard holding down a job. Like I don't hold them down long, so he gives me money from my rent. It's not very much, and he does it for now, but I don't want him to keep paying, for it. I mean, he's 50 years old. I'd like for him to just be able to retire soon because he's still working.
what does he do?
He works at the farm store here in town.
And is he just paying for rent or does he also pay for groceries?
I mean, I get food stamps and stuff, but he cooks me dinner sometimes and brings it over. I'm an only child, so I'm still kind of like I'm his only daughter, so he does, help me out a lot.
Take
He
care of you.
really makes sure I don't go without. Yeah.
When was the last time that you had a job?
I mean, like a legit job would have been a while. I mean, when I was actively using, I sold drugs and stuff like that. That's how I made a lot of my money. Um, but usually I would just kind of work at fast food. I don't have a high school degree. I dropped out in the 10th grade, so it's kind of hard for me to get a job. A lot of people even want your GED now. So I mostly just like work as a server or like I worked as like a housekeeper at the hotels.
And with this court mandate, are they having you get a job? Are they requiring that?
Not really. It's something I do want though. As long as I can just like show that I can provide stuff, they don't really force you to have a job as long as I'm able to provide for the kids, but it's something I want for me because I mean, I would like to be able to take care of my kids and myself.
And how have your kids been doing with all this? I know you said your
Well,
oldest son.
yeah, so he's lived there, my oldest son, for a while, and so, like, every time I go visit him and stuff, because he's still on the guardianship with my, grandparents, he never got off that, so they basically raised him since birth, so when I go see him, I go over there, so, I mean, the kids are at least comfortable over there because they were over there a lot, and then they're at least together, so that's good.
It is good. And they're living with your dad's parents,
My mom's
your
parents,
mom's.
my dad's parents are both dead.
Okay. And how far away is that from you?
They don't live very far. They just kind of live a couple blocks down, really. I could, if my car ran out, I could walk there if I needed to. So I think that's good.
That is really good. Do you have any history of mental health um, diagnoses or treatment?
Um, Not really. I mean, I've done some like type of classes before for addiction and things like that, but I've never had any type of diagnose really.
Do you think you suffer from like any anxiety symptoms or depressive symptoms? Or when you were using it was just because at that point you had gotten addicted to it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think now that I'm coming off the drugs, the emotions kind of can be a lot because that was my way to cope. And I'm trying really hard not to do that again because I don't want to get my visits taken away, especially since they're only so little.
Right. What kind of ways are you using to cope right now?
I mean, it's kind of hard since I don't work. I feel like I have a lot of empty time, but also I don't have transportation, so it's not like I can go do stuff. I like watching TV, but I feel like that's kind of all I do. I can go outside and go for a walk, but it's also kind of a small town where I'm kind of afraid I'm gonna run into somebody and they're gonna want to be like, "Hey, let's go smoke or something," and that just worries me.
I can imagine that's pretty stressful. With a small town, it is likely that you'll run into people. So you're really just, staying at home watching TV. Have you have they suggested any kind of mindful practices or anything for you or
Not really. I feel like my caseworker for children's division really doesn't like wanna help me. I don't know, I feel like she's kind of rude sometimes, or like I understand she's busy, but I feel like she just doesn't, I don't know, really like me or something like that. So I feel like they don't really give me options on things to do.
um and this one can be another one of those kind of traumatic questions, but in your sexual history, was there any trauma there or are you sexually active
No.
now?
No, it was just with, Ricky. He's the only one I've really been with. I mean, um, we obviously never really used protection because we've had kids and stuff. I don't know if he's been with other people, but I've only been with Ricky.
And have you been tested for STDs or
No, but I'm kind of assuming that they tested the baby when they were born, so I kind of think I would be in the clear for that, but I've never had any actual testing.
okay. What about any major surgeries? Are you taking any medication, any allergies?
No, I haven't had any major surgeries. I'm not on any medicine.
What about legal history? I know right now you're going through um this case. What about in the past?
Yeah, I've been arrested like a few times for, some small drug charges and things like trespassing, mostly stuff that I was doing during my addiction. I don't have any pending criminal stuff right now though, just working on my children's division case, but they're so far not pressing any legal charges, so I'm just dealing with the children's division juvenile court.
Okay. And how far into that are you?
Just like a month in, we're not very far with that. They took her right at birth.
Okay. And then you said that you didn't finish 10th grade and your employment status right now is just kind of, your dad's taking care of you mostly. And prior to that, you were just a server or housekeeper. Is there anything that your goal is
Yeah.
to be like kind of when you're going through this, like where your next step would be?
Um, I would really like to go back to school. I would like to be a nurse or something like that to help people, but I'm also not sure where that would be because of all my charges and my past and stuff.
And then what do you think that your socioeconomic status? It sounds like you're in a small town. Um, it's really just like lower income housing. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's a lot of like lower class people. It's a lot of elder people too. A lot of older people live here. There's quite a few like nursing home and retirement homes, but it's very small. Like our only store is Walmart. It's small.
And do you think that impacted your like likeliness to use drugs just because there was nothing else to do?
Yeah. That's pretty much what everyone does around here.
And then you said you weren't religious. Do you practice any spiritual things at home, or you just kind of stay away from that side of things?
Like I like kind of I like to think of stuff like as energies and stuff, and like, kind of if you put good energy out there, you'll get it, but no religious or anything really like that.
Okay. What about holidays? Do you celebrate any holidays?
Yeah, we do like just the traditional holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving and things like that.
And then do you go over to your dad's house for that to spend it with him, or do you go over to your grandparents' house to spend it with the kids?
We usually do it all at my grandparents' house, but I'm not sure how that's gonna look this Christmas coming up since I'm only at like 1 hour supervised. I'm sure I'll go over there that day, but we won't be able to have like a big family thing like we used to.
And how are you feeling about that?
It's gonna be hard because I feel like I'm gonna be alone on, the holidays. I mean, my friend Barbara, though, like she said, I can hang out with her, and at least that will keep me distracted, and it's a positive support, so I don't have to worry about using with her, and I don't have to worry about being alone and doing something stupid.
That's great. It sounds like she's a really good friend and a really positive
She
influence.
is.
Does she have any kids?
No.
And then kind of back to the alcohol and drug use. I know, you mentioned the smoking weed and meth. Is there anything else?
No, in my past, I did, like, pills and stuff, like, opiates, but I don't just meth, it's easy, Ricky made it, so it was easy for me to get it, and it's cheap, so
And when you were selling it, were y'all doing that together?
yeah.
Do you have any areas of concern right now? I know it's kind of strange because you're in between working with the child division, but I want you to be taken care of as well. So kind of any issue of
I
concern
mean, I'm
for you.
mostly just about the, like, sobriety, and I mean, I just wanna better my life and start being a better person and make better decisions. I mean, I'm 30 years old, so I think it's definitely time to get on board with doing well, or I mean, probably won't live long or not gonna have a good life when I'm older, and I wanna be able to provide for my kids so they don't have the same struggles as me.
Do you think that your kids seeing you kind of go through this has it impacted them, or have they been kind of kept away from the active use? I know your eldest
Um,
son,
mm,
he was already living with, his grandparents, but your middle child.
um I don't know if he, like, really noticed. I mean, he's 5. I mean, I'm sure he notices and I just don't notice because, I'm under the influence, but, I mean, he at least always had food and clothes. Like, it might have not been the nicest stuff, but I made sure everything, that's the one thing I wanna try to do is be a good mom, so I was trying to make sure they at least had everything. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't all what I thought it was because I was under the influence, but I'm hoping, it wasn't something too bad.
Right. And then the youngest testing positive. It kind of sounds like you were doing meth while you were pregnant with her. Does she have any medical issues or
None so far that they've reported to me. She goes, to the doctor monthly and stuff. When she was at the hospital, like it was like a little bit of withdrawals from birth, but nothing that they've like said is permanent as of right now.
Um, do you think that you have anybody else kind of in your support system besides your dad and Barbara, or those are really like in your NA group? Have you found anybody else?
Really, because I don't know, I feel like, I mean, I know a lot of these people in the group, and so I also kind of like a lot of them, I think, are just kind of faking and stuff. So it's kind of hard to see who's really actually trying to get sober or who's just trying to like get the classes like ticked off. But I mean, I definitely would like to have better social supports. But my grandparents who have my kids, they're also like really helpful and loving and stuff. I mean, I know this is really hard on them. I mean, they're almost 70 and they're taking care of three of my kids. One's a newborn, but they're really good people and they help me out too.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like your dad and them have been very helpful for you, and around when nobody else really was. And it's amazing that they're there instead of the babies being put into foster care. So that's really great to hear.
Yeah.
Um, so today it was really just getting to know you more, and I just want to make sure before we move on that you're okay, because I know it's kind of hard to talk about this stuff and kind of bring it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but I'm ready to talk about it to start moving forward and stuff.
yeah, I think next time we meet, we're gonna talk about a plan forward and kind of set those goals and how we can meet them. I'm thinking that I should look into a NA meeting that's not spiritual based, if that sounds great for you. If that's something you're interested, I can do that. I feel that that will give you more kind of that social support instead of just relying on those 4 people that you have been, that have kind of been through everything with you. And then possibly looking into jobs, if that sounds good for you, or kind of what's out there that'll be healthy to do and won't put you in the spot where you feel like you need to use again. So that's kind of what I was thinking about discussing next meeting, if that sounds good for you.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming in. And if you have anything that you need between now and next time, just let me know. You have my phone number. I'm here for you. We will figure this out together. And again, just let me know if I can do anything for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you.